Earlier this week, Baylor's Dave Aranda and SMU's What Lashlee both spoke to the media and answered questions about the matchup between their two teams in Dallas on Saturday. Let's dive into what exactly they said about injuries, Kevin Jennings and the SMU offense versus Baylor's disappointing defense, Sawyer Robertson and Baylor's aerial attack against SMU's defense, and the renewing of this old Southwest Conference rivalry. First up, some general notes from Dave Aranda.
We're looking to play better, and we're looking to start faster, and we're looking to, when we get into adversity, maneuver through that better. I think offensively, there's a lot of positive from this last game, and there's still things that we could play cleaner. I think there's a lot of weapons on that side of the ball, and so the expectations there are really high. And I think special teams-wise, we've had back-to-back games now with the return going the other way, and so there's a lot to clean up there. We're just focusing on getting better and getting back out there.
So that's the theme of the week, really. Internal improvement. Not that the Bears aren't focused on the challenges that SMU will present.
I would certainly respect the opponent, and I've known Coach Lashlee for a long time. He's just an awesome dude, and much respect for him personally, and he's got a great program there.
That respect is mutual, and SMU head coach What Lashlee offered some general points on the Baylor program as well.
Obviously, we got a great opponent. I think probably we're going to play, if I'm guessing, at least 5 top 20 offenses this year, and this is definitely one of them. I've known Jake Spavital a long time, man. He knows how to call offense. I remember we recruited Sawyer Robertson here. He's a winner. Got loads of skill players from receivers to tight ends to running backs, a huge offensive line. So our defense has their work cut out for them. And then offensively, we got our work cut out with Dave Aranda and that defense. I really appreciate him as a person. I think he does it the right way. And, they got a good football team. I know they took a loss in week 1, but if you look at it, they outgained them. They did a lot of things right. The kickoff hurt them. But that was a really good football game against a much improved Auburn team.
That is a more positive view of Baylor versus Auburn than many in and around Waco have had over the last 5 days. But it's also a very anti-rat poison answer. Now, before we dive into the way that SMU dual threat QB Kevin Jennings will challenge the Baylor defense in similar ways to Auburn's Jackson Arnold, let's talk injuries. Carl Williams was looking more likely to play as of Monday, but Jackie Marshall did not practice that day.
Carl was with us today, so he was going through all the things that everyone was going through. So he's got a big smile on his face, so I'm happy for him. And then Jackie wasn't with us. He's still day-to-day. It's a good question. I think that is the question. Right there is that one. I think there's a lot of struggles on the front of the defense and just physicality-wise, playing blocks-wise, just things that really would like for us to be beyond at this point. And so we're kind of going back to square one with all of that. We're going to have to be creative, I feel.
Creative solutions could include playing out of a peso package more with just 2 down linemen, or maybe starting nose tackle DK Kalu moves over to end with one of Baylor's 2 300-pounders coming in at nose. Either way, it's not just scheme that is needed to fill the gap left behind by Baylor's top D linemen.
We need extra more from everybody. We need more from me, Devin Bobby, the D-line, just everybody. If you think you're going 100, we need 110.
As for the Mustangs, their top returning receiver, Jordan Hudson, and their top returning tackler, linebacker Alex Kilgore, both left the SMU season opener with injuries.
Yeah, let's see. So obviously J. Hud went out and Kilgore went out both in the first quarter. Good news is both x-rays were negative, so there's no long-term fractures or breaks. I'd say they're both day-to-day. It could be anywhere from best case scenario play this week to a few weeks, and it's just everyone heals differently. But as bad as they both seemed at first, they weren't, and that's a blessing for both. I would say we won't know till Friday if either would potentially be available this week.
Since it was an elbow for Hudson and an ankle that had Kilgore on crutches and in a boot on the sidelines, it seems unlikely that either Mustang has an impact on this Saturday's game, if they even see the field. Now for the fun stuff. Baylor's defense against SMU's offense. How does Baylor's performance against Auburn preview what might happen in Dallas?
Yeah, it's funny when people watch games versus see a box score. Auburn ran for like 300 yards, about 150 of it were the quarterback, and probably 3 or 4 times he got out and scrambled, and then there was probably 2 or 3, maybe 4 times he had quarterback powers, including the one at the end for 30, 40 yards. And so I think those chunk plays really, the quarterback changes things in the run game, and that definitely hurt him. And so to your point, Kevin's feet give a defense trouble. And so hopefully that plus our running game can be good this week. We need to take a jump from week one. At the same time, you look at Baylor, what they did, they limited some of the best receivers in America to about 100 yards passing. So, every game you get in and people are trying to take certain things away, you could tell they had a game plan to take away, the 2 or 3 really talented receivers that Auburn had, and they were willing to give up the run, and it almost worked for them. So, every game you get into, what are they trying to take away from us? So, if they play the same way, we have to have the ability to run the football. At the same time, we got to be able to throw it and be balanced. So, week 1 to week 2 is when a lot of teams make big improvements. We have to do that, but I bet they're expecting to do the same.
So yes, Baylor is vulnerable to Kevin Jennings much in the same way that they were beaten by Jackson Arnold. However, those two guys are not the same. Jennings is more proven overall and notably as a passer. So maybe the Bears try out a QB spy this weekend?
With the guy we're playing now, it's going to be, hey, third down. It's going to be wide open deals, formations, and there's going to be, hey, this is a passing situation. You got to play spy. A lot of what we saw was it was a run action. He pulls it out. It's a play action pass. He sees that we're running with someone, and he just takes off and runs. So a little bit unconventional that way. The spy would have been really, if we had to get him off the ball, he would have been sucked up in the run and been a non-spy spy. Yeah, I mean, there's opportunities to make plays, and it's just really frustrating that we didn't make them. We've got guys that I know can make those plays, and we got to coach them better so that they can.
I think they're very two different runners, but it for sure will help us out and give us more things to put in to stop the run.
Aranda dove further into these differences and offered a comparison of Jennings to a former Big 12 quarterback that is now succeeding in the NFL.
I think one of the differences, now it may not be versus us, the quarterback we just played, he was scrambling to run it. So like if he saw a certain coverage, he ran. Where Kevin, a lot of his runs are to throw it. So he'll keep the drive alive, and then he'll make you pay with a ball down the field. There's a bunch of, we would play Brock Purdy, and he would be this way, where he would be scrambling and he'd be running behind the line of scrimmage, but buying time, and there'd be a defender that was covering a back or a tight end, and the defender would see Purdy run this way, and he would come up, and at the same time the defender would come up and leave his coverage. The receiver, the tight end, would go vertical, and it'd be kind of a pop shot there. There's a bunch of that on film with the guy that we're playing, and so there has to be plaster rolls in the back end. There has to be the use of spies and 3-man rushes. We got to try to flush them certain ways, and so there'll be the whole gamut going in to try to be able to control them. I think he does a great job of identifying coverage, and he's a very, very adept passer. He's done a great job maturing through all of it, and they've done a great job coaching him because he's impressive to watch.
So what does the man himself think about this matchup after what Arnold did?
Yeah, I mean, definitely seeing him rush for that amount of yards was like 130 or something like that. It's kind of eye-opening for me that I can do the same thing, honestly. If they give me the gaps to run, why not take off and go get some yards, pick up some yards? And I think that would be the main factor for our team, this week, just to, be able to run the ball for sure.
And that brings us to the larger issue for Baylor after week 1. The run defense was lacking in many ways. Whether that's due to playing things too safe against the pass, the run fits and tackling need to take a clear step forward in week 2.
In the past, particularly on the inside, we'd have guys that were just born, to do the addition and subtraction of gaps and, where should I fit and just all of it. And there's some people that we play that are kind of, the math changes so much, it's very difficult to keep up with. I think we've got a lot of guys right now where if the thing breaks down, if the thing spills out, if it kind of goes haywire from the beginning, we got guys that can run it down. And so we just haven't had that before, really, probably since I've been here. They need to get better when the fences are in and the doors are locked and this gap's your gap and this gap's my gap and that. And so we have to be able to teach that better and spend some more time with that, but we've got the guys that can do it.
Aside from Aranda, the players for the Bears seem to be eyes wide open about their issues on the field.
I mean, you have that bad mouth taste in your mouth, so you just go back to the drawing boards, see what you can improve on and not feel bad, get the truth out of it. Whatever was bad, it was bad. Whatever is good, and just get back to the drawing board, get back to practice and figure those things out. We all got a lot of the right things to say, or the right words to say, but actions, putting it on tape, putting on who's staying after practice, who's out here before practice, how early, who's getting more film in, so stuff like that. I'll say actions is the way we'll be moving forward.
Shifting gears to the Baylor offense against the SMU defense, Rhett Lashlee is well aware of how much talent his defense will be up against come Saturday.
Yeah, we had sometimes we didn't tackle great in space the other night, but then we had sometimes we did. It's going to be a different thing with these guys. I mean, every position, the slot receiver is unbelievable. I remember Michael Trigg. We recruited him out of high school, and I was at Miami out of Tampa. I mean, he's massive. He's a matchup problem like our tight ends are. Their outside receivers are good. Obviously, Bryson Washington and the freshman running back are both really good. And that line is big. I mean, they lean on you. They get downhill. They have the RPO game, which puts you in conflict. They can spread you out really, really wide and get those one-on-one matchups and get the ball in space. And so I think tackling in space is going to be huge for both teams. And so you do hope week 2, now that you played a game, even the older guys, the Zays in the world, like that, they'll be crisper in week 2 and tackling in space, and I expect us to be.
Lashlee knows that both teams should execute at a higher level in week 2, which probably scares him since Baylor's receivers went for 400 yards total and 200 plus yards after the catch against an SEC defense.
I think all the receivers could agree that we could have did even more, as a whole, whether it's blocking, even catching more balls. I think nobody's really complacent in the performance that we had. I mean, obviously we had a little bit of success, but I feel like we haven't really seen what we can really do yet.
Okay, but maybe the Baylor QB had one great night and won't play at that level again, right?
Well, Sawyer's just tough. He's a competitor. I mean, like I said, I remember sitting at the Chick-fil-A with him here and his dad when we recruited him on campus. And he ended up going to Mississippi State, I believe, and then transferred to Baylor and ended up, wasn't the guy they brought in to be the starter and just found a way to be the guy. And what he did last year for them was really incredible. And you just watch him even the other night, the toughness. I mean, he was getting hit and he pops up. He delivers the ball. He's a competitor. He can extend plays. He can tuck it and run if he needs to. And he gives his guys chances. He throws with elite confidence. But I think he just gives them leadership, toughness, and edge, and that's what you want at the quarterback position. So make no mistake, we know we're going to have to beat these guys on Saturday because they're really good, and they're going to be a hard challenge to overcome.
And for anyone curious, or maybe even concerned that Robertson did not really run the ball in week 1, I asked Dave Aranda if that was by design or if there was an emphasis on him not running the ball. This was his answer on Monday.
Nothing yet. He's healthy, and he's he was running around today. I think the pass rush was pretty good from Auburn on the particularly on the edges. So I think the pocket was kind of collapsed for him somewhat. But yeah, we can run him if need be, and that's always there.
Maybe Sawyer's long runs from last year stand out more because of the big moments they were in, like on 4th and short a couple of times. And after a 3-for-6 performance on 4th down against Auburn, that aggressive tendency was a topic of conversation this week.
I think you look at it now, where some of the numbers that we're putting up, I don't know if we put them up all the way without going for it on 4th down. It's really, really hard to defend an explosive, talented offense that goes for it all 4 downs. It's difficult, puts defenses in a bind. It does give confidence and an edge to the offense because they know that we're going for it. We're in attack mode all the way. And there's a bunch of 2nd down and 3rd down runs that normally would not be there. You'd like to have the confidence that if you don't get it, that wherever the ball's put down, that you're putting up a fight for them to get 7. And if they get 3, then you can move on with it. But I think we're still working to get that expectation.
So yeah, if you thought that might change, it won't. That's just part of the Bears' offensive identity at this point under Dave Aranda. Getting out of the weeds and into the conference room, Baylor versus SMU is a rivalry that dates back over a century to 1916 and was a part of what many consider one of the most entertaining, if not greatest, football conferences ever. the Southwest Conference. Rhett Lashlee said he grew up watching Arkansas in the Southwest Conference and remembers when this matchup was more of a rivalry.
I remember Arkansas playing SMU when I was young, and so I got great respect for what the Southwest Conference was, all the schools that were part of it. I grew up watching coaches like Grant Taft coach at Baylor. So, it's neat. And I think that's what makes it good for our fans.
Do fans want it to return as an annual thing? Have there been conversations about that? Dave Aranda has not heard anything about that yet, and there are other rivalries that fans would probably want salvaged first. But it could be good for the game regardless.
I think it is. I think anytime, you have conferences that are just across the landscape, from East Coast to West Coast and from Central to all over, I think it's good to have a rival or to have an opponent that's just down the street where the stadium can be packed and it can be energized and there can be brought back to life some old memories and old games and all. I know that was the college football that I grew up with. I know a lot of you guys are that way, so it's good to be able to get into that. I hope to get into that more.
And similarly, from Lashlee.
Our game is losing some of the regionality because of TV. Look, I know to our fans it matters. I may be wrong. I don't think we beat Baylor since 1986. So the games matter to our fans because the Southwest Conference, we all know the history of what the Southwest Conference was. So that is important. And then you just think proximity. From recruiting, a lot of these guys, I always look at it from a player standpoint when you have these games, whether it's us and TCU, us and Baylor, us and Houston. It's more that these guys all grew up playing together and probably were all recruited by similar schools. And so I think that adds to it. I bet our guys have a lot of friends on that team and vice versa. And same thing in coaching. It's good for the game. But at the same time, you're looking at the way probably other schools are going. Baylor just played a great, national game against a team like Auburn. We're going to continue to do the same with the Notre Dames, the Oklahomas, the LSUs. And it's just kind of the new normal in college football now. And if we've learned anything in college football, just wait a few years and who knows what it'll look like.
Yeah, who knows what it'll look like. SMU's quarterback didn't even grow up with the Southwest Conference. He grew up watching his uncle play for the Baylor Bears in a post-Texas A&M and Missouri version of the Big 12.
Yeah, I really don't know too much about it. Haven't heard too much about it, honestly. But, I grew up watching Baylor. My uncle played for them, Corey Coleman. So I grew up watching them as I was growing up. And I know, any in-state rival game is, it's pretty big. So I'm just looking forward to getting after them and playing them. And, a top school that I was looking at. So, yeah, I'm ready to look at them.
So that about does it for this presser comparison preview of Baylor at SMU. But on Sick'em 365, we are going to get one last word from both Dave Aranda and Kendrick Simpkins on the game against the number 17 Mustangs.
And the message to the team is that we're a good team, and we've got a lot of talent, and guys have sacrificed a bunch to get to this point. We can win a lot of games, and I believe that wholeheartedly. I know our team does. It just sucks to lose, the negativity that comes with losing, and just all of it. We're going to win here soon.
The confidence hasn't left. Confidence is there. As far as getting the win, we need to win because we just put one to bed the last game. We're not more so looking at who the opponent or the ranking or not. We just need a win, and we're hungry for a win right now. So it's very important, and it will be a very huge win for this program and this team.
Enjoy week 2, everybody. Join Sick'em 365 Premium on a $1 for 1 month trial to read our experts' notes and insights. Know about high school commits, off-season transfers, coaching staff changes, and so much more before the rest. Also, download the Sick'em 365 app on your iPhone today to get instant notifications of breaking news, read up on the latest inside info, easily interact with other Baylor fans on our forums, and get alerts for anything published by your favorite staff members.